Hello, welcome back to Called to Homeschool with me, your coach and guide, Meg Thomas. I am starting something new and fun on the podcast. So, as you know, I have been putting out a forum for you to fill out questions if you have any questions for me to answer on the podcast. And I give people the option to actually come on to the podcast and get coached live. And so, Brianna is our first person who is getting coached live. And I'm really excited about this because I think it's going to really help so many more people on a deeper level because I come obviously with a lot of experience and a lot of years, but I'm so far in that I'm just really confident in what I'm doing. And so sometimes it's good to hear other people in different areas of their homeschool and just being guided through it to know that you're not crazy if you feel this way or if you think this way or if you're struggling. I just didn't really have social media when I was starting to homeschool, right? And so I don't have a lot of those things there. So this is going to be really great and a lot of fun. So, Brianna, give us a quick rundown of who you are, if you've already been homeschooling, how long, some things like that.
Yeah, sure. My name is Brianna and I'm in Pennsylvania, and this is going to be my fourth year homeschooling. And I still feel new
Yeah.
at year four. And we have four kids. My oldest is going to be 9 and she's going into third grade. And then I have a 7-year-old boy who's in first grade, and then like a 4.5-year-old and an almost 2-year-old. So two little people. So we've done homeschool from the beginning. So yeah, I'm entering in my fourth year.
That's awesome. And this isn't part of your question. I'm just curious, what made you guys decide to start homeschooling?
I think all the reasons, like we're a little mix of all the reasons. I wanted more quality time with our kids. We weren't ready to send them out 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And just there's definitely a lot of Jesus reasons in there,
Yeah.
and wanting to just like breathe the word into our kids and raise them with a Christian worldview. And then, yeah, our public school, again, like relating to like some political things. We didn't really love how that was looking. And I think the more that I learned about homeschool, I'm not homeschooled, and there's teachers in our family. And the more convicted I felt that I don't really think to learn, you need to be at a desk for 8 hours a day. And so it's really a lot of layers for us. But I really do feel like very strongly convicted that we're in it for the long haul. So yeah, that's how we got here.
Hey, so stinking fun.
Yeah.
I love it. That's what we started only when my oldest was first grade, right? The same idea. He went 5 days a week, and all of a sudden I was like, I can't already say goodbye to this child at 6 years
Right.
old, right? Like,
Yeah, they're
well, it
so
was good
little.
knowing you.
Yeah, right.
I got through all the hard stuff and potty training, and now I'm sending you out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally understand that. Okay, so I'm gonna read your question. So it said, how do I know what to teach them? And then she says the ages of her kids. And then how do I know when to really start teaching writing, where to start in history, when do I add in subjects like geography or language, etc. So kind of talk to me about this question. What are some of the worries and fears that were coming up with it?
Yeah, I think the biggest, ultimately boils down to like what to teach when, because I think there's so many great things you can teach, and I am a researcher. I love learning. And I think in the beginnings, like we've definitely approached homeschool up to this point that we are just focusing on reading, writing, and math. And because I think we can pick up a lot of history, science, and other things just through living, being outside, pulling books at the library, like based on interest. But now that my older daughter is in third grade and she's very academic minded, she's very driven, I'm feeling a little angsty about what to introduce now, and it kind of feels like I'm tiptoeing into like more serious schooling years. And I think I get overwhelmed with the practicality of homeschool and the practicality of the schedule and how much are we really going to fit into a day, because I definitely listen to people be like, this is all we do in a day, and I'm like, how do you physically do that with multiple kids, babies, toddlers, and do it well? I also have a business that I run, and so my plate is really full like everybody's. And so
Yeah.
I think I struggle with the practicality of like how much should we do in a day per in a week, because I know we can loop subjects and rotate subjects, and versus the beauty of exposing them to so many things through their education. And then I end up back at the practicality piece of like we have a lot of blue collar jobs in our family. My dad has a plumbing business, and I was trained as a nurse, and there's so many things that like we were supposed to do in school. Actually, going back, you had a podcast episode about cutting the ends off the pot roast.
Yeah.
That was like a turning point moment for me in my school journey. And you'll have to link that for people. But like, just questioning like, why do you teach this? And I think I lean a little bit more practical because I learned things in my nursing career that I don't, I never had to use. And there's modern resources, there's Alexas, there's things we can
Yeah.
look up that we don't need to memorize. And so I feel, again, being in year 4, I'm still figuring out who I am as a homeschooler. I'm trying to weigh the practicality of what do they really need to learn now to be able to make them lifelong learners to learn. They need to learn how to learn. But I don't know how to like, I don't know how to reconcile all of these ideas and thoughts. And there's so many ways to slice the homeschool pie. And that's where I'm at. I feel like my brain's a
Yeah.
little jello-y as this year is starting.
No, I think this is such a good question. And I loved it because I think so many people do this. And I even sometimes think, like, what can I do? Because there are endless options when you're homeschooling.
Right.
And I know Pennsylvania is actually one of the harder states to homeschool in. So I don't know if it gives you a smaller track or if you just have to report more.
We just have to report.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
but like with Utah, basically, I signed an affidavit once, and it's like Godspeed, good luck, Thomas family,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So part of the overwhelm is because there are the choices are optionless, like endless. That's the word I meant.
Yeah.
Choices are endless that you really can do whatever you want. And so part of that overwhelm is because, like, I don't know which direction to do. These things have been beautiful, they've been wonderful, but what about the academics and all this? So part of that overwhelm is just because your brain cannot wrap around like all the
All
options
the
out there.
options. Yeah.
So there's a really beautiful philosophy. I had like my own version. I could never find my little post-it note, but Thomas Jefferson Education, I really love the idea of it. Of basically 0 to 7 are really just great years of establishing routine and habits and chores and this family culture. And then
Mhm.
as we get to 8 to 12-year-old, we're really helping them to develop a love of learning. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Like I want them to be lifelong learners. And so you're probably starting to feel it because your oldest is getting into this stage
Mhm.
where it is a little bit more than just like, let's go look at butterflies and go through the
Right.
fields, right?
Right.
Which I love that you eased into this and just made it slow and beautiful because I'm guessing you don't get much of a fight to do school when
No,
it's
at this
really fun
point.
stuff like this, right? So now it's to decide like what is our style, what do we want, because we want to start narrowing things down because the choices really are endless. So part of doing that is finding out what you value the most is going to start helping your school to feel aligned. So I have stuff you could probably even Google, like help me find my values, or ask AI or Chat GPT or something like that of helping me find my values. But it's really great. I have it in my workbook, like 30 Days to Ease into Homeschool, but I'm sure you could find something online as well. But when you find out what you value, you start to can clear away the clutter.
Mhm.
And so, like, one of the things I talk about a lot is that I value adventure, which, as silly as that seems, but if we're not constantly having an adventure, I just hate school.
Yeah, like you need a thing to look forward to the next
Yes. And so,
adventure.
even with my 8-year-old, we started to do Tuesday, Thursdays hike or bike.
Okay.
And like, so we went this morning, we went on this like 3.5 mile loop and up into the mountains, right? And then all of a sudden, school to me is just fun
Mhm.
because like I had my adventure. And maybe we're asking like talking about school on the hike, but a lot of times today he just talked to me about Avatar and explained to me about airbenders and firebenders. So if anybody has questions about Avatar, I still don't know it. But finding out what you value is going to be so helpful. Like so I would assume that Jesus was something that you value, right?
Yeah.
So something that you would want in there. But like I don't know what all your values are. So that would be step one for you is to start figuring out what you value. And then another way to start to sift through the clutter is like, is there a style I like? So do I like online programs? And if you're like, no, then I just got rid of so many choices that I don't have to worry with. Or if you're like, yes, I want only online options, then I get rid of all these other choices, right? So you start sifting through things you like and don't like. So is there a homeschool philosophy you like? Like there's Charlotte Mason, Thomas Jefferson, classical education, well educated heart. Is there something that kind of like resonates with you?
I definitely think we are interested in the classical Charlotte Mason-esque world. I don't know much about the Thomas Jefferson life. I'd have to look into that.
Mhm.
But
Don't worry, like don't get overwhelmed. It's just I've been in the game for a long time.
yeah, right. I'm sure, yes, you know so many like methodologies. So, and where I get hung up for like the classical on like the classical world is, you know, like I've visited classical conversations and I've like gone down the rabbit hole of all of those things, and not just CC, but the concept of just like, do I need to teach Latin declensions to a kindergartner? The practical part of me is no. And that's where I love a lot of the aspects of classical education, like if we're talking specifics and examples, but the practical part of me is like, I don't know if they really need to learn that in kindergarten and first grade. And so, which pushes me over more to like the Charlotte Mason side of things. But I get a little overwhelmed with that. I mean, I feel like there's almost like a whole language to each methodology.
Yes, absolutely.
And some people get really hard with all of that. And sometimes I just want to say, can you just like tell me that in layman's terms, and like what's a pedagogy and why do we have to call it that? And
Yeah.
so um, right now, I guess we're like a little eclectic in the sense that I don't have like a defined, this is my methodology of homeschool, because we're still trying to figure it out 4 years in. And like you said, I think this has just been the year that's really pushing me to be answering these questions and picking a path, since I have an older child that's really driven in academics. So,
But
yeah,
you know what's interesting? Even if you do pick a path for this year, this month, it is not, you are not bound to this path forever,
right.
right? And
Which is
so
the
some
beauty
things
of it
that,
all.
right? So with my oldest, he's 20. I always get him mixed up. He's 23, right? He's almost 24. And I'm not doing the same thing I did with him that I did with my 8-year-old.
Right.
And maybe some of the things I'm like, that's really fun. But now that I don't have a toddler, I'm like, hey, let's also do our hikes in the morning
Yeah.
because I don't have a little kid. He is my little
Right.
kid, right?
Yes.
So don't ever feel like you have to be married to anything, like even for a full year if you don't want to. So, as I've even evaluating our own homeschool and I've been restudying some Charlotte Mason philosophy, I didn't realize how much it had influenced my homeschool. But then I've totally made it my own, what I value. And I love that you said, like, why do I need to teach Latin to kindergartners? So it'd be so funny because my husband has his undergraduate in linguistics, right? And
Right. I know he's a language guy.
yeah, he totally loves languages. And he would be like, yes, you totally should be teaching
Right.
kindergartners Latin, but I don't value it. So I don't do it. And he is welcome when he does scripture studies with us. He's always breaking down the etymology of words and like, and this is what this means. And he learned Hebrew so he could understand the Old Testament and Greek to understand the New Testament. And so he's bringing all these things in. And so I think wonderful. When you do scriptures, that's when we bring it in. But I'm not going to do Plutarch because if
Right.
anybody's read it, I think it is so boring and like
I
I
agree.
value fun.
Right. But then don't you ever wonder and think like, I've also had this thought, is like I'm
Mhm.
ultimately educating my children through almost like my interests. Because if I don't value Plutarch, I'm not going to teach Plutarch. And I struggle sometimes with, and is that okay? Do you know? Because
Yes.
what if I have a child that's like interested in, like, we haven't gone super hard at like artist study, but I definitely have a super artsy kid, so I know I'm going to get into it down the line. But what if I wasn't self-aware enough to be seeing an interest in my child, or even maybe they don't even know they're interested in it because I haven't talked about it or they haven't been exposed to it. And I think, coming back to what do I teach when, I feel like I need to quote unquote lay the feast of all the things, even though it's
Mm.
not something I am interested in, but I should expose them to these subjects because maybe it's going to light a fire for them. And one, I'm realizing like dying to self is like a continuous theme of homeschool, but do I need to carry that into subject matter like language? Like, even though you hate language and that's a terrible statement. It's not your jam. Like, it's your
Yeah,
husband's jam.
it's not really high on my list. No,
Exactly. And
but
so,
it's interesting. You're getting yourself worked up on so many what ifs.
for sure, I think because like I'm definitely a let's look at all of the angles of this scenario and
Hmm.
consider all of the ways that
Yes, but like
which is probably
it's
not healthy.
no. It's just interesting to see like how your mind is getting you into overwhelmed,
Yeah.
right? And so like it's almost being able to come back and like I want to feel like how do you want to feel this year? So right now it's overwhelm and worry. But like,
Mhm.
do you want to feel confident? Do you want to feel hopeful? Do you want to just feel excited? Do you want to feel joy? Like, what do you want to feel this school year?
I think hopeful and calm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the hopeful in? Like, hopeful of what?
I would prioritize the calm over the hopeful.
Okay, let's go to calm.
Maybe
So,
hopeful that I am calm.
yeah.
Um,
So
no,
calm in that your decision of what you do this year.
and I want calm and peace to be like the atmosphere of our home. And it's not that I don't feel as though like my kids are wild and chaotic and everybody's fighting and everything. I think
Uh-huh.
internally because my brain is going 100 miles per hour at all times, and just knowing that I think I wake up, man, Meg, this is going like 800 directions. You could talk about 700 topics in this conversation. Waking up and just knowing, like, okay, we have to get through the school today, but I have to, like, also do the dishwasher and do laundry and have quiet time and also work before I can, start all of that with the kids, which means I need to get up at this time. And so I think that's my brain all day. And I want to enjoy homeschool. I don't want it to be like a check on the to do list for the day. And I want my brain to feel calmer about the entire schedule of events. And so I think the main words I would say is like, I would hope the year would be calmer and present.
Okay, so then part of my question is that then with this, I want to enjoy homeschool and like you're saying, the dishwasher and all of this. So is there a rhythm to your home so that your children are helping taking care of the home so that when you get to the homeschool piece, you can enjoy it and you're not like, oh no, we didn't do this and we have to do this and we have to do this. But like, where is the habit training with your kids? And is there a rhythm so it's not just you all day long
Yes, with
micromanaging
all the jobs.
everything? Yeah.
So yes, we do have a rhythm and they do help with the dishwasher and they have little I would say they don't do it unprompted, but they know the
Yeah.
series of events we do every day. I'm like, do other homes do this unprompted with like, we have to do that again? Like I
It's
get
a
that a
surprise
lot of
every
times.
day.
It's a new concept all over every day.
Uh,
So there is absolutely, they absolutely help. We do have a definite, I don't want to say a schedule, but we just have like a flow of events. And
okay.
it's the same day to day. I think with the ages of the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old, almost 2-year-old, it gets interrupted a lot.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it's very hard to have like a true home day a lot of the time because somebody seems to always have an appointment or we have to go out for something. So that's a huge thing I'm doing this year is like protecting because if you have to be, I feel like I have to be home to do the homeschool. Like I can't be out running all the time. And my kids are not in a ton of extracurriculars. This will actually be the first year that they're really doing anything, but I made sure that all of those activities were close to our home and we're not driving all around. Um,
So quick question though. So
yeah,
last year though, you had a lot of appointments and then little kids. And so as part of the reason you're calm, like you're longing for this calm. And so as part of not having this calm is that there's been too much else going on.
I would say, yeah, I have like a child that's kind of a medical child. And last year we had so many appointments, which I had to take all 4 humans with me to all the appointments and fit in all the homeschool. And so luckily we are healthier and have less appointments this year. So I think that's going to be a big change to physically be home, not interrupting the schedule. And like I had last year a younger baby that was two
Yeah.
naps and then one nap and like in the throes of all that. And so this year we have a one napper and less medical appointments. And so we will be home. So it is my hope that I don't feel like I have to look at my day as this like never ending to-do list to like get through quiet time, to get myself dressed, to get through my emails and work, to get to getting the kids up, to get through breakfast, to like I kind of feel like I have this um continual thought of like I have to get through this.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm
that.
not
Like I
enjoying
can
it, and I don't
Well,
know how
that's
to
I can
turn my
feel that
brain
energy
off.
from you, right? Of just like and you said you wanted to be more present and because you're not like I have this to get through because then I have this to get through and I have to do this to get through. And so part of that is really looking at of like I have to's of like I want to's or of what can I let go of. And it's interesting. I went to a night the other night and I was talking about how to do to-do lists and like a lot of these women were really overwhelmed with their big to-do list and I was like then burn them. Like,
I know
why
all
do
there's
we
one
have
right
these
here,
to-do
sitting
lists?
here. And like I'm the one that has like a to-do list on the counter, a to-do list at my desk, I have a to-do list in my phone because I just like think of things and write it down.
Yeah, and it really gets so overwhelming
Yeah.
when you live that way, right? And so part of this overwhelm and with this school, and so then now school because you feel like there's a fear there that like I've got to do the right thing because my oldest is in third grade now and like I might mess them up and what is the right to-do list so that I won't feel overwhelmed. And we're kind of looking at it
Right.
at a different way. So instead, it's like instead of this perfect to do list or this perfect curriculum, so I won't feel overwhelmed, it's like, how do I choose to let go of overwhelm? Because I think that you are so used to being in overwhelm that like you don't know how to let it go.
I would agree with that a little bit, only because like we've been like a touch slower this week, and I will literally look around and be like, there has to be something I need to be doing right now.
Yeah, I should be doing something,
Like I
right?
should be doing something. I should be cleaning something, organizing something. Like I should be getting something on my productivity list done. And I'm definitely a productivity driven person.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband is the opposite. And so he's constantly just like, just don't do the dishes then. Just like don't do the laundry during the day. And I don't know why that's so hard for me to do. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, it's just going to build up, and then you're going to have to do it all at the end of the day. And that's where I'm like, these are all qualms that women that live at home with human beings in their house, whether they work or homeschool or not, have to, you have to do all your daily chores and they have to happen. And I don't know, if I let them go to be more present in my homeschool
Well,
and
I don't think you have to let them go. I think you just need to do them a different way.
okay.
I think laundry should just be a homeschool subject.
And then like practically, do you have a laundry day?
Yeah, like when I started homeschooling, I had 5 little kids, and Monday was laundry day, and we did everybody's laundry together, and they hated it. And so pretty quickly, those older kids, so for sure your 9-year-old, because my 8-year-old can do all of his laundry on his own now. So for sure your 9-year-old and even your next kid can be start doing their laundry on their own. And then you have a buddy system. And so not only 9-year-olds you do your laundry, but you also do the little kids' laundry and you other kid you do this kid's laundry and you guys start doing it together and it actually starts making your life easier and easier where like I'm doing nobody's laundry but my husband's on my own,
That is,
everybody's doing their own. Like
yeah,
I
I
don't
do
think
laundry all day, every day. Like I
yeah
just
and like you
wash
can see why you're going crazy with that, right?
all the time. Yeah.
And so, like, part of the homeschool lesson, especially for the little ones, but like, I just like to do a day because that just is easiest for my brain is like Monday's laundry day. And it's funny because I still kept Monday, even though everybody does their own laundry now. But like, we would do it and we would put everybody's stuff together and we would learn to sort all right then. I would show them how to start a washing machine, how to switch it to a dryer, and then we'd fold it all and put it all away. So in between laundry sessions going, maybe we would do a read aloud, or maybe we would
Right.
look at a book or do something, right? But part of this homeschool and with these habits and with this training is so that you're not doing laundry every day. Now, if there's an accident, somebody has a blowout, somebody wet the bed or
Right.
whatever, like that's life. But then you also can start utilizing those older kids and you can even take it's 9-year-old and what was the next stage?
7.
7. So even like really training 9-year-old and 7-year-old, like, okay, Tuesday is bathroom day. And I'm really going to show you guys how to do it. So maybe 4-year-old, probably not 1-year-old, but like 4-year-olds in there with a wet wipe, wiping the walls or cabinets. And we're really going to show you how to do this. So part of school is we're all going to clean the bathrooms. And on Wednesdays, we're going to show you how to clean a room or whatever. And after we eat, we all clean the kitchen together. And as annoying as this sounds, it like is magical because within a very short amount of time they really learn how to do these skills And then they can also then start teaching the younger kids as they get older. So you are not there micromanaging, like, oh, here's another to-do list, here's another thing I need to do. It's almost like, because I don't have a maid or I don't have a cleaner or anything like that, right? That would be dreamy,
Yeah.
but I don't. And so instead, I took the time to just really train my children how to do it so that then when it's school time, all of that stuff is done and we get to just have school.
And I think like when I read like into the depths of, Charlotte Mason is habit training is like the first thing she
Yeah.
like wants you to do. And I kind of feel like a little late to the game. My 9-year-old could habit train all day. She is like very just like type A and
Yeah.
she says what she's asked for. The 7-year-old boy, it grumbles. And I know that that is like more of a heart issue that we need to like address and work.
No, a heart, it like grumbling is just ignoring, right? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like sometimes my husband's like, "Hey, can you go? I hate doing anything with the car." And I had to go get a tire replaced the other day, right? And so he's like, "Can you go do that?" And I was like, "Oh, I hate doing anything with the
Yeah.
car." So like grumbling is just like, yeah, you don't
So
want
do
to.
your
That's
kids
fine.
grumble? Like when you ask that,
Yes.
we're still grumbling. Because I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh, yes. And I even
is this
wanted. I
normal?
took a what?
I'm like, is this normal? I want these chores in this idealistic world for them to just like to do them with a happy heart. And they're just like,
No,
then we sit down at the table and we just do school and we're like happy to be there, which obviously most homeschool moms know that is not how it goes. But when you go
no.
through these Charlotte Mason philosophies and all of the habit training and all of the things, I'm like, this is so idealistic. And I need someone to give me more practical information about this.
Yeah. So like letting go of them ever being excited about chores, ever,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think I hold that expectation.
Yes.
Be excited all the time.
Yes, or just like, "Mother, I'm so excited to wash the dishes for you," or like, "Thank you for this wonderful house," or whatever it is. You'll get the
Yeah.
thank yous later, like, "Wow, thanks for teaching me, mom." But like this is a long game of motherhood and really teaching these habits. And so letting go of like grumbling is a problem. I actually did take a picture yesterday because one of my kids had a lot of treasures under their bed. And so they had to clean everything out. And even though we're habit training and we're doing all of this stuff, like, if I'm not always on top of it, like it was hilarious. His little legs are sticking out of the bed, just full of clothes he'd shoved
Yeah.
under there. Some Legos were under there, right? And it's just like, they're human.
Yeah.
They're figuring things out. And so it's totally okay. And so I wonder if part of the overwhelm is like, I have to do it all. Like I have all the stuff to do. When
Yeah.
instead, like that mindset switch of like, what if part of our homeschool this year is habit training?
Yeah, so we've considered that one of my girlfriends who I do look up to, she's ahead of me in the homeschool world. Like Fridays, they just clean the house and that counts as
Yeah.
a school night. Like, and they all have their jobs and that's like they reset the house on Fridays, which
Yeah.
I'm considering trying this year to like hit hard life skills because like that's also a huge thing of homeschooling. I feel like and an advantage that they get to learn all these things that a traditional, you know, 8-hour school day child would not be able to encounter. So it's not something that I'm currently skipping over. It's just I think I need to figure out how to make it a little more systematic without overwhelming
Well,
myself.
there's some
Like,
fears in there though, right? Of like she's older, I need to be doing more. But like with her age, your oldest, having these habits is going to serve you so much more. So even if your school at the beginning for just a few months, like we do Monday, it's Monday Fun Day, and it's our deep clean day, right?
okay,
And then everybody now does their laundry whenever, and I do my laundry on Monday still. But so Monday Fun Day, they clean the bathrooms, they clean the whole house. That's like sweeping, mopping everything, vacuuming everything, dusting the house, scrubbing the bathrooms, all of those things. That is our Monday Fun Day chore. Nobody loves it. Nobody's excited for it. Most people grumble or whatever, but we've really spent the time doing that. And then our school, like that is our subject of the day for school.
yeah.
And if they need extra help, then I come in and help or whatever they need there, or if you're in the training period to do it. And then the other days I get to just have fun and do school.
That sounds like a lovely concept that I should
Yeah, so it's
try.
just kind of like playing with the idea with it of like, what if we pick one day? I like to start with Monday because I like to start with the week, and Friday we actually never do school on Friday because we always play on Friday.
Yeah,
So
that's what
like,
we've done too.
yeah. So like I wouldn't take the fun day that you've been having and make it now a work day, but maybe doing a different day of like, this is our day when we reset the house.
Yeah.
And then maybe that afternoon, like, well, they could do snacks and you are doing a read aloud and maybe doing some one-on-one subjects with like your oldest or whatnot. But like this worry about, how did you word it? It's like, I really need to start teaching these things. Will get these, like writing. Let her write letters to grandma and grandpa or an aunt and uncle or a cousin and just like having fun with it while we're learning these life skills because she will get writing and she will do some of these things. But when she has these habits, your house will run so much smoother. And I'm trying to think, I have the quote. This is my favorite Charlotte Mason quote. The mother who takes pains to endow her children with good habits secures for herself smooth and easy days, while she who lets their habits take care of themselves has a weary life of endless friction with the children. So when you have all of these habits set up, then school stuff can start coming to you. Now there's so many awesome curriculum options out there and so many things. And so that's why I like to say, like, what do you value? Do you want online or do you want in person? Do you want to do it with classic literature, whatever it is you want? Then you can really funnel it down. And then I think prayer is one of the best ways to pick what you want to teach that year. And then like I write lesson plans. So many people write lesson plans, right? And so then it's just finding what resonates with you value. But when you have these habits picked up first, then you don't have to have all this overwhelm of like, when is this going to get done? I have so much to do. And so then, like you were saying, protect your homeschool hours. So even if your homeschool hours is from 10 to noon, Monday through Thursday, or whatever it looks like for you guys. Maybe you also do a little chunk during nap time for your youngest. And just like, and I'm going to protect this time. And then even scheduling in, like, and this is when I work. And this is when I
Right.
do this thing, right? And so it just is going to start giving you maybe some space to take a breath and having a thought or something to help you when you start feeling overwhelmed of like, everything's going to be okay.
Right.
Like something, what is a thought that really just helps you to step out? Like when that overwhelm's coming of like, I don't actually have to do all these things. Like I like to do some of these things, but I don't have to do all these things. What's something that helps you to just kind of go from overwhelmed to calm? What thought?
I don't even know yet.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the homeschool world, I think I constantly remind myself that I know that I care a lot and they're going to come out okay. Like
Yeah.
knowing that if we don't do medieval history this year, they're not going to, I'm not ruining their education and I'm not ruining them as people. Because I think the whole, when we talk about like my husband and I constantly, well, maybe it's this, when I get overwhelmed, I think I go back to what is education and why are we homeschooling them?
Mm-hmm.
Which is oftentimes our answers have to do with who they are as people, not if they know their math facts or Latin declensions. And so,
Yes.
like, we're definitely in it for the heart and not the facts. And I think when I've literally sat down and tried to write out, like, I've never wrote out like a homeschool schedule, or had like a spreadsheet of like all the curriculum and how I'm going to like juggle it all and independent work versus group work. And I was doing that and getting very, very overwhelmed. And I think I had to bring myself back to like, but why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the goal of our education? So I should probably pick out a scripture to memorize, honestly, related to overwhelm. And
Something with
that,
peace or
yeah,
calm.
yes,
Like I actually was doing this thing the other day, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. Right.
right.
And so it's like, I can do this. I can train my children. I can teach them. And I love the thought too, like, I don't have to teach them everything.
And I'm kind of excited. I mean, worldly, yes, I think they're going to learn from a lot of things. And I think as they get a little older, I am excited to like for them to have a class outside the house and have somebody else. Cause yeah, it was the interview, I think, with your daughter. And she talked about like one of her challenges was like if you couldn't explain the thing, you were all she had.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that there's beauty in them being taught by other people. And I know for a fact there's a lot of there's better teachers out there than me that are going to explain things better and in a more creative way. And so as they get older, I'm excited to do that, to be able to find those classes and teachers to allow them to learn something else from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that yes, I'm not like the end all be all forever to their only education.
Yes. And so that same daughter, it was so funny. She just recorded a new podcast episode and she has a total political podcast. And I go, you have the thickest skin out there. And she did it on Epstein. And I was like, wow, like
Wow. You went
you're a
big.
bold lady. And it's so funny to me. Like I couldn't care. Like I understand the basics of politics, right? Like I'm not
Yeah.
completely ignorant, but I don't love talking politics and I don't love going down all the rabbit holes and all the things. And this girl loves it. She loves Candace Owens, like she listens to her religiously. She loves all of those things and listens to it. And so to me, it's never been my job to teach them everything, but show them how to learn.
Did you feel the pressure to expose them to all the things? Or did
No,
it just
like I
organically happen?
can't. I
Right.
like that. It's something that I just
It's not
had to let
possible.
go. That I can't like I can expose them to a lot of things. And so we did Tchaikovsky one year and we were doing the 1812 overture. And so we made little cannons and we were exploding them. None of my kids got into orchestra. Right? Like
Right.
nobody ever did. And a couple of my kids have gotten into music, but not as a career, just like I love music. It speaks to my
Yeah.
soul. Right. I'm not great with poetry. I can do silly poetry like a boss, and I'm great with Shel Silverstein and like Mother Goose rhymes and like old funny stuff. But
Yeah.
like when people almost weep because poetry is so beautiful, I think I'm so sorry. I'm a clown and I
Yeah.
can't be taken
I can't
serious.
relate.
Yes, but they're exposed to all these different things. And then one of my darlings was like, I love to write poetry when I'm upset. And I was like, what? We're writing weird limericks. Like that's what we were doing in poetry. And so I can't expose them to everything and to every beautiful idea. But I can expose them to beauty. I can expose them to nature, to God. And I think it is Marlene Peterson from Well Educated Heart who said, when someone is so full of beauty and love that their heart will find a way to express it. So it may be through the arts. Like you said, you have one who maybe likes to draw, right? Or paint,
Yeah.
one who likes to sing guitar. I have a kid who loves to write speeches,
Bless.
absolutely
Oh,
loves to write speeches. Right. I have kids who love to write books and do all these things. And so to me, it was just our homeschool. I just did my best. And I've always had to rely on God to fill in the cracks.
mhm.
And maybe that was with something my husband said, right? Like my daughter during church the other day was Googling an etymology of a word. And I go, your father would be so proud of you right now. Right. Like,
Right?
so like dad inspires with different things, big siblings, cousins, friends that they've made will talk about something. And so like part of that overwhelm of I have to teach everything, I have to expose them to everything, like it's impossible,
Yeah.
but I can expose them to so much beauty and I can expose them to things with me. And you said too, like they're only going to get things through my like point of view and
Yes.
my thing. And they will get my point of view, but like they're not locked in the house with me.
Right.
Right. And so
Yeah.
they are getting points of view from other people. They are getting different things. And maybe I would even say, like, if so my daughter did Epstein, right. And so she did like, we should expose everybody on the list. And this is her reasoning why. And maybe I'm like just arguing the opposite side for argument's sake, right? But
Yes.
I'm like, absolutely no, we should protect all of these and having a difference of opinion and then teaching her how to form her opinion. And so if we read somebody in history like Lincoln, a lot of people love Abraham Lincoln. A lot of people think he's a terrible person. And I'll go, isn't it interesting to read both sides? And then you get to make your own opinion.
Mhm.
So they are exposed to a lot of different things. And it could be somebody at church has different opinions than us, and our neighbors have different opinions than us, and cousins and grandmas and grandpas and all these different types of things. And so, yeah, they are with me, but as they get older, I'm going to show them how to find what resonates with them and how to keep learning versus no, mom says, here's my teeny tiny box you have to fit in.
Right.
And then, like, some of my darlings are like, I love classic literature. So I'm reading, my daughter just finished A Tale Between Two Cities. And she's like, you have to read this because I've never read it. I'm 44 and I've never read it. Right. And I was like, okay, promise me it gets good. And I'm like, I'm like 200 pages in and I'm like, promise me it's
When
going to
does
get
it?
good.
When
And she's
does
like,
it
no, I
get
promise,
good?
I promise. And so, like, I'm even reading and studying things that they love,
Right.
and they're exposing me. Like I told you, my younger son did told me all about Avatar today, and he was
Yes.
like, mom, we just need to sit down and you need to watch an episode. And maybe for him I'm doing that, but another kid, I've learned a lot about sports, and they're
Mhm.
being exposed to so many beautiful things. Avatar. I don't know that that's beautiful, but they're just being exposed to so many different things and talking. So I'm not their only influence.
And how old is your son that's in the Avatar son?
8.
So, do you see a pattern in your children and all your experience of mothering? Like, what do you feel like there's an average age where they like blossomed into their personal interests
The
and like,
teenage years.
yeah, that seems to be the repeated response I get.
Hmm.
Because I feel like up until a certain point, like I'm going to be teaching them all the basics of language arts and math because they're necessary skills. And I feel like if they have those, they can go learn anything and do anything.
Hmm.
But it doesn't sound like, and I don't want to say homeschool doesn't get fun till then, but it sounds like it gets really lively then because they develop,
Yes, and no,
you can
I
put them
don't know. The
in
8 to 12-year-old range is like the little kids' age to me. I don't know. I love all the ages because the youngest when you're just playing games and
yeah,
having so much fun and singing songs. And then the 8 to 12-year-olds, it's like I'm reading and this is kind of cool. And so I'm
yeah,
exposing them. We did tea time this morning and it was um Kool-Aid and like we were listening to silly books and we were singing and dancing. And then my bigger kids I can't have cooler discussions with. But a lot of their learning is then becomes independent, so it's not with me as much.
yeah.
And so like they all have really beautiful parts of each stage. So I'm just exposing them. And it's interesting, my youngest, because he got raised with all big kids, like he can tell you all about the Russian Revolution. And like we have these little books called Simple History, and like he would have me read that to him for his bedtime story, and we would watch YouTube videos, and he was like, Rasputin, that guy, who he's a piece of work, isn't he? Right.
Oh
But it's
gosh.
like it's so interesting to him. And so I said, hey, I really want to travel with our homeschool and do things. And so he's all in. And then when he gets older, he may say, like, I don't really want to travel. That was fun for a minute, mom, but like now I'm done.
Right.
So you're going to expose them to things that you love, like history is totally my favorite. But then my 14-year-old said he really wants to do chemistry. And so I've been looking for fun chemistry kits that get sent to your house. And I was
Yes.
like, I'm happy to do it, but I don't want to be the creator of it. But
Right.
I will buy you a kit that we can do
Yes.
together.
Right.
And so it's just start like as they get older, you're just then finding things that they're finding interesting. And it's like, okay, do I outsource this class? So is it another teacher that you go to? Um, is it like something I buy, like a kit, like the chemistry kit? Because my 14-year-old, he's doing speech and debate outside of the house, mock trial, seminary, so a religious class, and
Wow.
then football. So any like sports stuff, right? So right now
Yeah.
it's football. And he goes, and everything else I want with you. Oh, fantastic. I would
That is
love to do
great.
that.
That is so wonderful.
Yeah. So like each kid is going to be different. And like to think that I can teach him anything, like I let that one go a long time ago because then it gets to that panicky of what should I teach them?
Well, yeah, it's polarizing to be like, what do I pick of
Yeah.
all these things?
And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, like Story of the World is like the basics and it goes through all
Yeah.
of history, right? There are lots of good science books out there. I actually like The Good and the Beautiful. I like their science books are really pretty. We've even bought a bunch of science books from Gail Gibbons and we'll look something up and then we'll watch YouTube videos on it or go to a museum or something, find a museum with it. So there's so many different fun things you can do. And so when you start thinking like, I have to teach him all the things, or I want to teach him all the things of like, what do I want to teach this year? What do I want to know more about? The reason like we've learned so many different things of history is because I'm like, I don't know anything about this. And I
Right.
would love to know about this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's enjoyable, I think, as the sometimes I'm like, I think I'm the one learning the most things here. Like, because it's so enjoyable, I think, to go back through as an adult and relearn a lot of things and expose your own self to things that you didn't learn about. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's been enjoyable to also be like a student of the homeschool.
Well, yeah. And you'll learn so when you go into of like, I love learning this and this is so fun. It's so amazing. And I was with a family member the other day who's incredibly intelligent. This man is so, so stinking intelligent with math and computers. And I was talking about how my daughter and I were going to go on this trip. And so I've been studying all about France and doing all these things. And he goes, honestly, I don't know if I could write one sentence about the Revolutionary War or anything with it. And he goes, Les Mis. And I was like, well, Les Mis technically is post Napoleon era. There's the first revolution, right? Like, and so we're all smart in our own very different way. And
Right.
so, like, what kids are taught in school is all made up. Somebody was like, they should know this. It's like, well,
Right.
why? Like, I think teaching dinosaurs is a waste of time.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, so I've never done it. We have a book on dinosaurs, like, my kids aren't completely oblivious, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I really feel about dinosaurs. So that's what a lot of people believe. So, and now we'll carry on. Right. And so just
Right.
exposing them and having a lot of fun. But like when you can go into this year of like, okay, I'm going to train my kids because that the rest of my homeschool so much easier for myself. I'm going to realign with what I value of like what's really important to me and so that those are the things being brought in and then like what do I want my children to know this year? Do I want us to like plant a garden? So we're going to do a lot about seeds and botany. Maybe we're going to learn about compost.
Mhm.
Like, okay, we're not going to do planets. And they'll get there. Because
Yeah.
one day they'll ask, like, why is that star so much brighter than the other ones? And you're going to pull up AI or your phone or Alexa. And I was like, hey, Alexa, tell us
Right.
about this and start showing them that they can just be learning all the time, everywhere. And it just help you to get out of the overwhelm and let that pressure off. I don't have to teach them everything. I can
Mhm.
teach them to love learning and then they
Yes.
can learn whatever they want.
Yes.
Okay. How are you feeling? We went in a lot of circles today, but
I
how are you
know.
feeling?
I know. I feel good. I was trying not to tangent you into all these circles, but it's hard when everything's related.
No, and it
It's
is.
all
And
related.
it's
It's all interwoven.
right.
So
Well,
I
but
appreciate you.
usually like whenever we're overwhelmed about something, there's layers to it.
Yes, for sure. It's not so simple that it's like one thing you can pinpoint. Done.
Yeah, like here, do this magic pill and you'll never feel
Yeah.
overwhelmed again, right?
Correct. Yes.
So I would just want to leave you with the last couple things of like overwhelm is just a feeling created by a story you're telling yourself. And so when you start doing that, you can lean into it of like, I feel overwhelmed right now, and that's okay. So you can
Mhm.
totally lean into it of like, sometimes I choose to feel overwhelmed, and that's not a problem. And if you don't want to feel overwhelmed right then, it's like, then I just need a new thought.
Yes.
And maybe it's like, I actually don't have to do these things.
Which is a powerful phrase in of itself because I'm like a
Mhm.
doer and an overachiever. So even just like having the thought of like, I don't actually have to do that is not like to someone else that might be really normal. That's not something I would say to myself very often.
Yeah.
So that alone is profound for my brain.
Yeah. Okay, Brianna, I'm so excited for you and your school year this year. And if anybody else would like to ask a question on the podcast, you can put it on my Instagram or in my email list. I have a little link you can sign up to either just ask a question or come on the podcast. So thank you so much for being here today, Brianna.
Yeah, thanks for chatting.
Mhm.